What you're playing as in lore in this, you are shit. In the Warhammer universe, you're garbage. You're a worthless piece of shit that deserves to die because you've offended the Emperor in some manner. And for some reason, you have, you know, if you follow the story, you have proven your worth enough to go die gloriously in battle for the Emperor. That is how you redeem your honor. If you sacrifice yourself for humanity and for the Emperor's will and Warhammer lore, okay, guys, if you don't understand what the Imperium is, the Imperium of Man, there's no other way to explain this. They're ISIS on crack. They are so fanatical, so devoted to the cause of humanity that they will literally strap explosives to themselves and blow your ass straight to hell just for that. That's the Imperium of Man. They serve the Emperor, and if you don't serve the Emperor, you are dog shit. There's a reason why they are. The Imperium of Mankind, which is, you know, us, is constantly beset by people that want to wipe them out. It's not outside the realm of possibility that people will become fanatical if they're constantly being slaughtered and murdered by lunatics all around them. The orcs, the Tyranids, Chaos, frickin' Eldar, frickin' whatever the frick you want to throw up there. The galaxy is dark and full of terrors. So the Imperium got super fanatical, and they are a warlike people, because we're really good at it. And they have become a cult, or not even a cult, a religious, fanatical military that will not tolerate your bullshit. You serve the Emperor, or you can die. That's your options. Go die then. They don't give a shit. They'll launch your ass out of a cannon. They don't care what you think or feel. You will serve the Emperor, or you can piss off. In this story, you are the low-level people. You are trash, you are prisoners scheduled for execution, but something happened, and now you're here to fight for the Imperium because you are technically a loyal servant to the Emperor. You actually do love the Emperor. You actually do want to serve the Emperor. You know that you will live in hell and darkness, and the only light in the universe, the only light that you got is this Emperor who guides and protects. And that's all you got. He's the flame in the dark. That's it. There are no Space Marines here. If you're wondering, what the hell's a Space Marine, Bert? Captain America. But like on a scale of ridiculousness that you don't even understand. It'd be Captain America fused with Iron Man with the Hulk. But they're not here. You call them when the situation is so bad. You need an Avenger level threat. That's not this. This is some basic ass shit that's happening here. This is normal, you know, run-of-the-mill, nothing's good enough for scum like this, but not good enough for the Avengers, aka the Space Marines. We'll get into Space Marines later, but in this world, what we're in a hive city. Imagine New York City, right? You ever seen Judge Dredd where they live in Mega City 1? That's what hive cities are. They're just like New York City with nothing else around, and the cities are built up and they're built down. So they're hive cities full of crazy shit going on. Okay? It's horrible shit. They're decrepit. They're sad. It's just horrible living situations. But humanity survives in hives together. Now that's where chaos can breed. Now chaos, it's hell, literal hell. Demons, devils, all that evil shit, right? They feed off if you hate your neighbor, right? For whatever reason, you hate your neighbor and all that rage you feel, or if you got the jealous eye because your girlfriend cheated on you or boyfriend cheated on you, some shit like that, you got that rage in you, right? Chaos can pick up that rage that you're feeling and pull that out. You know, you feed them. You give them strength and power because they feed off those emotions, that raw psychic energy that you don't know what you're letting out. In this game, you are dealing with Papa Nurgle. Nurgle is a chaos god formed from people's life, death, decay, pestilence, disease, nasty, everything that's nasty in existence. He feeds off that. So in the storyline of this game, this hive city is being infected by the forces of Nurgle. He's sending his plagues in here. Now, the Imperium just doesn't really give a shit. Like, they give a shit, but they're not like, they're not calling in the Space Marines. They're not calling in the Avengers. they're gonna send your expendable ass in here to go die. But you can at least do some good serving the Emperor with your death. Now let's go into who the Emperor is. All right? The Emperor of mankind. Oh shit! I gotta fight. Sorry. Hold on. We'll be right. We'll get back to this. Almost got his damn shield. Got his shield. Ah! Ha ha! Yeah! Now that's how you serve the Emperor, right there. This is a very deep, rich, very lore-driven game, or not game, but just world. The Warhammer 40K is, man, there is lots to get into, and I can only give you a very brief overview. But if you're wondering, like, who the Emperor is, there's a lot of ideas, possibilities about his origin. Here's the one that's the most common, that he was created, like, 4, 5, 6,000, from our time period, like before the pyramids were built, ages ago. He was born through the sacrifice of shaman. Like a bunch of shaman, they could see, they were early psychikers, and they could see that the forces of chaos existed. As we perceive hell today, chaos is just that dark, twisted dimension, like I said, that it just feeds off of organic materials, emotions. That a bunch of shamans got together. They knew that chaos was going to be a big problem for humanity in the future. So they self-sacrificed themselves to create the perfect being. The Emperor was born, who has omnipotent levels of psychic power. It's almost godlike in power, and with his mind that he can create things. And that's one idea. Another one is that one of the old gods, the ancient beings of the universe who helped create the universe, is what made him as a final, screw you to chaos before they died, right? Anyway, long story short, the Emperor exists, right? 8,000 years ago, whatever the frick, before the pyramids are even built. He decides it's going to be a good idea to let humanity develop the way it's supposed to, and he does not interfere. He's there, but he's not ruling, okay? He's just chilling. He's biding his time. Humanity rises through the Middle Ages up to where we're at today, and then as we advance, we just keep advancing. We get better and better and better and better, and become, we advance to a stage where we are the golden age of humanity. We have conquered most of the galaxy. We have lots of planets everywhere, establishing colonies everywhere. Our technology is at its peak. We are the gods of the Milky Way. We own this shit. Okay, the warp is how we travel. So imagine Star Trek, Federation, right? You know how they warp drive and everything? Instead of that, imagine us traveling literally through the realm of chaos, right? The warp, the big, scary, scary, scary place with the chaos gods and all this crazy shit, right? We travel through that. That's our warp drive. Literally, we're catching a ride through hell on our way to our destination. Not necessarily the best of idea, right? Something goes wrong with the warp, and it cuts us off from the rest of the galaxy, right? We're cut off. So we can't access, Alpha Centauri, for example. Our warp drives, there's some kind of warp storm. I think this is the event where Slanesh is born, I think. But I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. But anyway, we're cut off from the warp. So for a long time, humanity is cut off from each other. During that time, we create artificial intelligence, which decides that it's going to be, Skynet. We make Skynet, and Skynet decides he's going to whoop our ass. And he does. So AI leads to a horrific war, and the golden age that we just had goes very bad very fast. So instead of a golden age, we're in a very shit age. Very bad things happen. Warlords rise up. The government that was established there falls. It is mass chaos, nuclear warfare. We regress greatly from our golden age. We literally go back, and back, and back to a state of feudal time period with a sci-fi twist. That is when he arrives. After ages of hanging in the background, being quiet and letting us rule ourselves. The Golden One, the Emperor of mankind, decided he's had enough of our bullshit. and his great glory, he creates the Proto-Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, born from his DNA, perfected through his engineering and genetics. He leads these elite troops to conquering and establishing the Imperium of mankind on Earth by force. There are no religion, there is no tribal shit, there is no government. It is all through the Emperor. And you will submit because you have failed. And you will obey the will of the Emperor, and he's gonna drag your ass, kicking and screaming, to a new golden age of humanity. The Emperor leads a campaign to conquer Earth, holy terror. Every warlord, every religion, it's all put to the sword. Everybody is brought together under his leadership. Now, once that is over, and he has established full control of the Earth, he must do the unthinkable. Something that brings such pain and agony to him, but it must be done, because the Emperor is only thinking about you. He puts to death the Thunder Warriors, his proto-Space Marines. He puts them to death, all of them, because they were a means to an end. They were not the future of humanity. They were there to conquer, and now he doesn't need them now. But through that sacrifice, the Astartes were born. Now, from the Astartes were Primarchs, perfect beings from the image of the Emperor himself, his sons that would lead to the reconquering of the Milky Way, the true heirs of the Imperium. His chosen generals, and among them, the greatest son of them all, Horus, the War Master, who would lead his brothers to the glory that the Emperor, his father, chose. Each Primarch created their own chapter, and from them chosen amongst you, the Space Marines, humanity's frontline, humanity's ultimate warriors, who would lead us to a bright future under his golden light. Now the stage is set. Now the Imperium is born. What did I do? Sorry about that. The Emperor guides his children and his new Astartes Militarium to Mars, to where he meets the Adeptus Mechanicus, who pray to the machine god, the Omnissiah, who they now believe is the Emperor of mankind. Through the combined might, they decide it is time to reestablish the lost colonies of mankind and bring them back into the fold. Humanity will rule the galaxy under the Emperor and his Primarch children. They branch out across the galaxy, conquering one system after another. You will kneel or you will die. The Emperor does not tolerate any insubordination. He does not tolerate any worship. He does not tolerate anybody that says no, because the humanity will be one. We will be unified. So the Emperor conquers, the Emperor lays waste, and they all know they're doing it for a righteous reason to do so. It is a pure reason. It is for the future of our continued existence on the galaxy. And nobody is more greater for this than Horus, who believes in this mission beyond a doubt. If you are a planet that says no, you get conquered and they kill off your leadership. If you're a planet that's stubborn and really fights hard against it, then you get exterminatus, you get completely wiped out. You could burn in hell. Nobody is stopping this train. And it is in this moment that the Emperor abandons the crusade. Something else has guarded his attention, and it takes him away from his children, the Primarchs. Off he goes, back to Earth, leaving Horus and the other Primarchs alone to carry out the mission. It is the single greatest mistake the Emperor ever made, other than the murder of the Thunder Warriors. Because once he is gone, they start to whisper.
Long have they waited, the forces of chaos have arrived. Awaken to the threats of the Imperium and the Emperor at hand. And they begin to whisper to Horus, why did your father leave you? What is he hiding from you? What secrets are you excluded from? What are you not being told? With all of Chaos's power, they corrupt, they seduce, they indulge into the great War Master everything that would prop into his mind every doubt, every suspicion, every trace of anger or regret. And Horus succumbs to the dark whispers.
It's a dark time for the Imperium. It is now 30K. Not 40K, it's 30K. 10,000 years in the past from when this game takes place. It's now 30K, and Horus has divided the Primarchs and has decided to lead a crusade against his father. The entire Imperium is split in half. It's many swearing allegiance to Horus because they believe that the Emperor is up to no good. Swear to the Chaos Gods, who they believe are the true rulers of the galaxy, and start accepting their gifts. And this leads to the Horus Heresy, one of the climatic moments in Warhammer 40K history. It is a civil war. It is a dark war. It is a war between the light and the dark that separates brother from brother. And worlds fall, entire peoples are eradicated. Some people are twisted beyond all recognition. You will never recognize these people ever again. They are consumed by their hatred, by their prejudices, and by the darkness of the Chaos Gods. Humanity and the Imperium are broken. Horus, after conquest, arrives at Holy Terra, Earth, with a war host to kill his father, the Emperor of Mankind. This leads to one of the greatest single battles in all of human history. Massive behemoths are brought down from the sky in fiery plumes. Godlike Primarchs fight to the death against each other. Heads ripped off, arms ripped apart, death of epic proportions. One of the Emperor's most closest confidants stands in defiance against Horus and protects Holy Terra. Horus himself, who is now gifted omnipotent godlike powers himself by the Chaos Gods, has come to kill his father. When all seemed lost, that the Horus heresy was going to be lost and the chaos was going to destroy the Imperium, something happened. In a climatic battle with Horus versus the Blood Angel Primarch, I'm going to butcher his name, but Sangrilius? Something like that. Sangrilius is killed. This Primarch Angel is devastated, killed by Horus, his own brother. From that, seeing the death of their father, the Blood Angels chapter Space Marines lose their shit and go on a blood murder craze like humanity has never seen in the history of Earth. And they begin to slaughter the forces of chaos that stand in their way. They are fueled with a rage like never seen. and begin to push back against the tide of darkness. It is in that moment that the Emperor, in his glory, takes on Horus himself. In a battle for the ages, the Emperor and the Dark War Master Horus engage in mortal combat. They battle with both physical and psychic power. That is a gargantuan conflict that would only be described as godlike entities battling each other while the rest of the mortal universe looks on. In this battle, the Emperor still loves his son, but Horus is gone. In a single strike, cripples the Emperor. He butchers him to the point of death, eradicates his body, breaks him. And it is in that moment that the Emperor unleashed his true godlike power. All of his psychic energy, everything that he was gifted, everything that he is, his entire essence, his entire being is expelled onto Horus. And he doesn't just kill him, he eradicates him from existence. His soul, his essence, everything that makes Horus Horus, the very atoms that cling to create him, are deleted from the universe. The forces of chaos are shocked. Holy shit, what the hell just happened? And the entire chaos forces crumble between the blood fury of the Blood Angels, who are just lost their shit, and the Emperor's insane power to just delete somebody like that. That scares the shit out of everybody. The forces of chaos collapse, they crumble. The battle for Tel Terra is over, and the Imperium has won. I screwed up my music again. But it comes at a price. The Emperor of humanity, the Savior, the one who was going to lead humanity to a golden light, is broken. His body severely damaged, his health near death. In his final moments, he whispers to one of his Primarch children who did not turn traitor the instructions to build the Golden Throne. This throne is a massive structure. Inside is housed the broken body of the Emperor, who's just a completely broken entity of a man. The purpose of the Golden Throne is to keep him alive like an iron lung or a resuscitator. It is constantly feeding him energy, the psychic powers of his people, to prop him up. And in return, what humanity gets from that is a light, a beacon. Humanity, broken and scarred, have no leaders. Many of the Primarchs they look to for leadership are gone or scattered or broken in comas or just lost. In humanity's desperation, they break a cardinal rule. No religion. They look to the only thing that they can in this dark time, and that's the Emperor. His light gleams like a lighthouse in the warp. Anybody that wants to travel through the warp, through hell, to get to point A to point B, can use the Emperor as a glorious beacon because his psychic powers still exist because of the Golden Throne. So he is in his sarcophagus on Earth as a lighthouse. And so the Imperium of man, the remnants of humanity, the half that did not turn to chaos, look to him as a god. It is the Emperor that protects. It is the Emperor that guides. It is the Emperor that provides. It is all for the glory of the Emperor. All of it. And you will serve the Emperor or you will die. So all of humanity that it still exists today, 10,000 years later, live only to serve the Emperor. That's all that exists in this dark world with chaos, orcs, tyranids, necrons, all the creepy things of the galaxy. There is only one light. There is only one thing that will keep you safe. There is only one path forward. And that's to serve the Emperor. And the Imperium lives for that, to bring his righteousness, his glory, his fire to the rest of the galaxy. That's the fire that burns into humanity. That's the fire that we're gonna bring to your worlds, whether you like it or not. And that's where we're at today. 10,000 years later, this is where we're at. Humanity is at this stage. So there you go. That's all I got. Now, of course, that was keep in mind, that was a very, Cliff Notes version of Warhammer 40K lore. There is way more than that. If you really want to dive into it, you can read the Horus. You can start at the Horus Heresy if you like for books. That's all. There's audio books for that. And on top of that, Luton. I have a link for you. Hold on. That link right there is a great starting place. You just watch them in order, and it will break down the history, the lore. It's very dramatic. It's very cool. Go into all of it.